Welcome back to CryptosRUs. I am George. We are all George. We are all one. So, in this video, in this stream, I want to propose something that I started yesterday, and I do think we can make this happen. I think all Bitcoin holders, all crypto holders need to stand up and join the movement. We are at that point where we could actually make a big difference with 3 days left until Bitcoin futures expiration. We could definitely do something and drive out the shorters. So I'm going to be discussing that today. Also show you what's been going on with F2 Pool and how we could take advantage of Michael Saylor's buy. So thanks for tuning in, guys. As always, smash up the like, subscribe to the channel if you are new. I have two streams, 11 a.m. Central Standard Time and 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. So make sure you hit that notification bell and follow me on Twitter and Facebook, especially on Twitter, because I've been a lot more active on Twitter. Some of you guys know that. So make sure you follow me on Twitter. All the links are in the description of this video. All right. So let's get started. Those of you guys that are already in the chat, welcome all the Georges. Let me change my screen here. So right now, Bitcoin is definitely doing better, but not as good as earlier this morning. So Bitcoin is now hovering in this weird range between 48,700 and 50,000. It's like right in between. But earlier today, Bitcoin got up about 51,000, you could see, and then just kind of paused right there. Now, why did it pause? Is it due to our friends at F2 Pool? Well, it looks like, yeah, you could see that. I'm gonna move my camera. You could see that even though these outflows are not massive like this one, you could see that it definitely started ramping up as Bitcoin climbed up to about 50,000. You could see that the outflows definitely started just enough to keep it at $50,000, right? So it does seem like whoever is behind it, whatever whale, F2 Pool themselves, we don't know. It seems like they are adamant about keeping Bitcoin below 50,000 right there. They do not want it to go any higher. So it does seem like whatever interest they have with their contracts with futures, right? It seems like they want to be right at $50,000 and no higher. And if it's higher, they may get liquidated or just lose out completely. So this is why it's a perfect time. A perfect time. A lot of people keep asking why, what can we do about it? What can we do about this whale? Well, we could teach them a lesson, right? And this is a perfect opportunity to do so. And it's because this is coming off the backs of what Michael Saylor just did with MicroStrategy, right? So I do believe that while this is going on, while MicroStrategy was purchasing behind the scenes, unfortunately, MicroStrategy, I think Michael, he had some sophisticated bot thing purchasing 2,000 a second or a minute or whatever, and it wasn't really done on the open market, so that's why it kind of came and went like without any movement. That's how he buys. Right? So he did buy another $1 billion Bitcoin. We've been waiting for it since Monday. When did it happen? It seemed like it started happening yesterday and ended today. So he purchased another 1.026 billion worth of Bitcoin. And that came out to be about 19,452. And the average price is actually higher than where it is now at 52,765 per coin. So this is the first time in a long time where I remember that he purchased Bitcoin and it actually is at a loss right now, right? Because we're at below $50,000. So that's almost $3,000 loss per Bitcoin, which is a lot. But obviously he's been dollar cost averaging, not a problem right now, right? So there were some theories that maybe Michael Saylor was doing this himself to drive prices lower to buy. No, obviously you could see he did not buy at a low price. If he came out and said, I bought at $45,000, then I would be thinking, okay, maybe there is something to that. But no, he didn't buy at $45,000. He bought at top, basically $53,000, which was, pretty much where it was yesterday, or maybe even the day before, right? So obviously Michael did his part. and this is where we can chime in, right? So for the last few days, Bitcoin and crypto has been weak, but things are getting better. Obviously, Bitcoin is nearing 50,000, and also altcoins have exploded up today in a big way. A lot of the ones that has been weak as of late have come up in a big way. Look at Binance Coin, now 13% up. Cardano up almost 10%. You look at ChainLink. I do have some ChainLink news, by the way, almost 12%. Dogecoin up 22%. Aave, Solana up 11%. So obviously altcoins are doing well, right? So we could do our part just simply by buying. That's it. Dollar cost averaging, buying the dips, right? Not being fearful, and overall, collectively, as we drive things higher, it's go wreck the shorters, right? Wreck F2 pool, whatever they're doing. And I think this week is the perfect week for that. It's pretty obvious that they're trying to keep Bitcoin right at $50,000 for whatever reason. Whatever contracts they have, whatever they have, right? This is what they want. But if we can get it to be higher, we close the week, say, at 55,000, 58,000, back to where it was before, I think it will do real damage to whoever is doing this. So that's why I think we all need to stand together. And yesterday, I started this movement. And a lot of you guys watched my stream last night, right? And I started this I am George. And a lot of you guys commented, tweeted, created your own hashtag. Keep it going, man. Keep it going, guys. I created another one this morning, right? So to keep this thing going, it's more about just raising awareness right now. Collectively, we could do a WSB movement ourselves in the crypto space. And I think we have a lot stronger hands. We have collectively a lot more people, a lot stronger hands, and we're doing it for a bigger cause, right? So obviously, those of you guys, that's why I tell you guys to follow me on Twitter. If you're not, please do so and join in on the conversation. Now there is something else that relates to this, right? And yesterday, my video in the morning, I connected the dots because people were confused, like, hey, how can F2 pool sell and cause flash crashes and stuff like that? So yesterday, connected the dots, like, for example, this one showing BitMEX, showing how there's massive inflows of BTC, and then they timed it perfectly, utilizing leverage, brought things down in a big way. Same thing with ETH, they did it many times. So you could see that this one was pretty obvious, right? At the peak, started coming down. This one was really obvious, caused a flash crash. And then here's another one that they tried to initiate, didn't happen. And then you can see there's a little bit more sell-off, right? And that flash crash really wrecked some people. I saw in the comment, I'm not going to say who it is, but there's someone that was on Kraken and basically got liquidated 7 figures. 7 figures. And I don't know the complete story he was trying to explain to me, but he's trying to recoup that. I don't know if that's going to be possible, but this wrecked a lot of people, right? So this is the dangers of high leverage. When you have 10, 20, 50, 100x leverage, this is what the whales can do, right? And the whales are doing it on the spot market. So that's the difference. You may also be thinking, well, MicroStrategy is buying $1 billion Bitcoin. What is this, right? 100 million here, 100 million there. It's not going to really do anything. But the thing is, MicroStrategy is not buying on a spot market. He's trying not to drive prices up. If he was, he could have done this openly on Coinbase and could have caused Bitcoin to go up $10,000 if he wanted to. But he's not trying to do that. But these whales that are manipulating, they are doing it on the spot markets and with derivatives. So that's how they multiply their power, right? That's why this is so dangerous. But yesterday, I was saying why is it that no one else is covering this? Why is it that no one else is talking about F2 pool? I mean, besides BitBoy, who is, but I mean, no one else really. I'm talking about the news outlets, right? Why does like Cointelegraph, CoinDesk, anyone else talk about it? So one of my patrons sent me this article yesterday, and I think we need to correct this guy because I don't know if he's just misinformed or he's paid off, but look at this headline. This came out yesterday. Whale who sold Bitcoin before 2020 crash cashed out $156 million before this week's 20% dip. So there's a lot of things that's questionable with that title. So are you telling me this? And he's referring to F2 Pool and whoever just dumped that $156 million right before the crash. So you're telling me this guy is so good that he knew to cash out $156 million of the Bitcoin right the day before the crash started happening. You tell me, is it really he's that good? Or is he just behind it all, right? It makes more sense that he's the one that's causing it. Not because he's lucky that he actually, decided to pull out. And if he had so much money to begin with, why would he pull out anyways? 20% to him is nothing. He already has that much Bitcoin, right? A true holder would not be pulling out worried about a 20% dip because they know it's just going to come back up, right? So this makes absolutely no sense whatsoever, right? And the first part of this, whale who sold Bitcoin before 2020 crash, I wonder if if there's something else to that too, right? So I don't know. But anyways, William Suberg, he does have a Twitter account. I think we need to educate him. I'm going to tweet him after this stream and present him what basically how I connected the dots yesterday. I refuse to believe a long-term holder with that much Bitcoin would cash out $156 million worth of Bitcoin that the day before this big crash happened. It makes zero sense. It's more likely that he caused the crash himself, not because he was just lucky and he pulled out. It makes no sense whatsoever, right? But this is the thing. I still don't hear anyone really talk about it. No one's connecting the dots. I don't know if they just don't believe it or they're paid off not to talk about it. I don't know. It seems like the dots are right in front of everyone. The data is there. Like, you can't dispute this kind of data, right? Like a huge influx of Bitcoin right when it's about to go down, and then a huge influx of ETH right when it's coming down. Like, you can't dispute this. I don't. Yeah. So this is why we need to rally together. If if these news outlets, they don't want to listen, that's fine. But we know the truth, right? And we know we could do something about it. So we should. Now, of course, I talked about MicroStrategy buying their $1 billion of the Bitcoin. That's pretty significant, right? If you look at their overall average now, their base price is now let's just round out, $2.2 billion. They have 90,000 Bitcoins. And of course, he's been dollar cost averaging. So even with his previous buys combined, he's still up a staggering $2.4 billion. But obviously, his recent buy has put him in the negative a little bit, so we'll see. It's an interesting thing to see what will happen. I brought this up in Patreon this morning. Is like, I was thinking, all these buys from Michael Saylor, ever since his first one, leading up to the one now, every single one has been pretty good. Like, after he buys, Bitcoin rallies up pretty significantly. And every single one seems to have done that, right? It almost seems like he's timing it perfectly. This is the first time in a long time where I remember he actually purchased something and actually Bitcoin did not rally. It's actually down, right? So I'm wondering, not to say that it will be down for a long time. I think it's going to be over by the time Friday comes around. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see what if in the future he makes a big purchase and Bitcoin actually stays low, right? I wonder what would happen then. But interesting thought. Of course, besides MicroStrategy, you have Tesla, you have Galaxy Digital Holding, which is pretty big. And of course, you have Square. Square also made a $170 million purchase on top of their $50 million. So now their base price is $220, but they've pretty much doubled that, right? So they have made $200 million. And the funny thing is, a lot of people's talking about this too, Tesla with their $1.5 billion purchase, it doesn't matter what purchase price they made it at, but people have calculated they already made $1 billion from their Bitcoin purchase. That is already more money than they made in their entire existence. That's how good of a buy that is. That's how good Bitcoin is, right? Really, really funny to think about that. But anyways, of course, the whales, the true whales, the Bitcoin the Bitcoin revolution led by Michael Saylor, he's getting so much more attention and adoption, and basically these guys are not going to be stopping. So at this point, there's absolutely no reason to believe that Bitcoin is going to stop anytime soon. What we're seeing right now is just a temporary setback, and we have many of them, despite the fact that the chart sometimes looks like it's just going straight up to the moon. If you zoom in, you'll see there's many periods where there's 20-30% drops, but every single time Bitcoin recovers and heads much higher, right? And I do believe that this next leg up can drive Bitcoin close to $100,000. Every single month since December, Bitcoin has been going up 100% after a fall. So I think I showed you guys this yesterday, but when Bitcoin climbed up from $20,000 to $40,000, it double. It went down to about $30,000 and kind of held there because of F2 pool. But then guess what? It literally doubled from there, going up to $60,000. So now it seems like we're getting through this. We didn't even fall that much, fell to 45,000, holding around 50,000, right? But let's just say 45,000, and then you times it by 2. That means this next leg up like this will drive us to 90,000 plus. And then maybe we do have a drop down, a 20%, 30% drop back down to 65,000, 75,000. But every time this happens, Bitcoin is significantly higher. So remember my prediction of Bitcoin at $100,000 by the end of April. I think I'm pretty accurate. I think that's going to come. I think this next leg up after we get through this, we're heading there. We'll be really, really close. All right, so that's F2 pool. I think we need to do something about it, right? And of course, let William, this author, we need to correct him, because obviously I think he got it wrong. Last thing I want to talk about ChainLink, because a lot of you guys are ChainLink fans. I did find this. A lot of DeFi projects and just projects overall on Ethereum, they're trying to figure out how to scale because Ethereum is congested, right? So ChainLink has been doing something. They've been developing something, an off-chain reporting mechanism, kind of like their own layer 2 solution that will give ChainLink 10x capabilities. Basically, data will flow 10 times faster, 10 times cheaper, and not only that, it will relieve congestion on the Ethereum network. I mean, ChainLink is a big dog. There's a lot of calls, so they do cause a lot of congestion, and they have just developed it. So remember, like a lot of people ask me about ChainLink, what's going on with them. I'm like, I don't know what else they could do other than maybe, develop some layer 2 solution they have, right? So this is very, very promising for ChainLink going forward. All right. That's pretty much it. Let me turn to you guys for some Q&A. Koala, thank you for that. Scott asked, do you like Voyager? I do. And Voyager has been on a tear. Remember, I created a video a few days ago talking about exchange tokens. And even before that, I had a dedicated video about Voyager. Voyager is above $7 now. It's a $1.5 billion. When I created my video on Voyager, it was literally around 70 something cents. So since that time, it has gone up 10x. I'm talking about like a month's time. And that's because when I was introduced to them, I'm like, man, that's a good app led by good people. And they had a lot going for them. And now they're really up and coming. People are always looking for Coinbase alternatives. Voyager is definitely one of them. So I think they're going to continue on. But there's a lot of fascinating projects out there, man. So that's why, a month back, 2 months back, I said I was going to diversify, that you guys should diversify too, because these alts, they're standing on their own. IE Tech, thank you. I mean, they're doing really well, right? Like today is a good example where Bitcoin is still kind of held down a little bit by F2 pool, but altcoins are not. Altcoins are coming up. Like my BTC ratio has gone up quite a bit today in my portfolio. I think you guys noticed that too, right? And that also good is because usually when you have altcoins do well, it's a precursor to Bitcoin doing really well. So I do think we could definitely help drive Bitcoin higher above 50,000, and then once it's above, it could sustain that, right? But that's also very good. Jeff Gamber asks, can we get a B Pro update? No, I don't. I'm sorry, I did not have time to look at it. What is B Pro again? Why do you want me to look at such a low cap coin, man? I appreciate the super chat, but this is just way too early. Way too early. And plus I didn't have time to look at it. Bmar asks, hey May, do you think Binance Chain Cake has a good chance to compete with Uniswap? The best chance one is Pancake Swap. Yes, so that is, yeah. So it has a good chance. It definitely climbed up quite a bit because of congestion. But Uniswap is rumored to create their own layer 2 solution. So I don't know if that's going to help them elevate them and keep them, being the top dog, maybe. But we don't know, right? It's still rumor at this point. Nikki, appreciate that. What do you think about Orchard, 0x, and Storage? Storage, I'm not a fan of. 0x, I'm neutral. And Orchard, it's okay. I mean, it's a decentralized VPN. I just don't know if that's really necessary at this point. I mean, it is. Everything decentralized would be a good thing, but it's not like really sexy to me, right? Like, it doesn't excite me. Have you used ZK Swap, Layer 2, Zero Gas Fee Swap by Ethereum? No, I have not. But there's a lot of Layer 2 solutions. I think people like Loopring for that reason, because they could do that. Also, Polygon could do that. Seller could do that. OMG. There's a lot of Layer 2 solutions out there. Students Valley, you need to watch my previous videos. It has nothing to do with them taking profits. It has them price suppression and manipulating the market and gaining with Bitcoin futures. So it has nothing to do with the fact that they're taking profits. You think Bay can do 10x this year? A lot of things can do 10x this year. A lot of things could do 10x in a month. And I think Pancake Swap has. When I cover Pancake Swap, I think they were much lower. I think they were like 100 million, 200 million, and they climbed up out of nowhere. I don't even know where they are. They're so high up on the list now. Where's Pancake Swap? Yeah, right above Voyager. So I think when I covered them, they were like 200 million or something, 300 million. So they probably went up, 5, 6x already. So can they go up more? Yeah, I think so. 10x from here will be a little bit difficult because of where everything else is. The market has to go up quite a bit for that to happen. But do they have room to grow? Yeah, definitely. If Sailor buys on OTC market, how will Bitcoin ever get to 200, 500K without buying on exchanges? Will hit, yeah, basically you got it right. Because the number of Bitcoins on exchanges is going down. There's measurements where the reserves on the exchanges are getting lower and lower. Eventually, when it runs out, there's only a set supply. Right now the supply is kind of is mixed between OTC market, which is just basically large whales selling to each other, and exchanges. But eventually, when there's no supply, it's all coming from the same pot. So just keep that in mind. It still has effect, but how Michael and these big dogs are doing it, they're trying not to make it go up, right? Where the whales are trying to make it go down, but they can only do it so much. If they were able to do it infinitely, then Bitcoin would have never come up. It would not be at 50,000. So just think about it. There's only one pot, really. It's all coming from this one pot. Any thoughts on Sidecoin? No, I never liked Sidecoin. I never liked Sidecoin. The only like decentralized storage I like, honestly, I don't even like any of them. But Filecoin, I would say I'm neutral on them. But all the other ones, they had iffy times, let's just say, beforehand. And again, not very exciting to me. Jay, when average shows gets life in your well, he dumps 10 times faster. Okay. Yeah. Okay, Jay. RP and Company. Numer Ire. Never heard of it. Numer Air. What is it? No description. AI hedge fund. Oh, Numer AI. Maybe that's how you say it. The hardest data science tournament on the planet. Build the world's open hedge fund by modeling the stock market. Okay. Okay. Yeah. I mean, it sounds good in theory, but I don't know if we need to support an AI hedge fund. I don't know what my thoughts are on that. I mean, there are data prediction crypto out there, right? But this is trying to do that with a fund, right? I don't know. I don't know if that's really necessary. And I don't know if I trust the data behind it too. Because I still think AI is very, very, very new. So I've always been neutral on AI projects and crypto. Have you seen BoxMine last video? He mentions you on it. Oh, great. Hopefully good things. I mean, I said one bad thing about him before, but it was to encourage him. But anyways, hopefully it was good things. DNT. Not something that I'm interested in. The District 0x, creating like micro communities and DAOs and I don't know, just something that I'm not interested in. Quinn asks, are you excited to see more stability in the market in the future? And if you had to choose the best network out there, which one would you pick? There's too many. I don't know who's going to win. I mean, obviously the network effect is Ethereum has it, which is why it's so big, right? It was above 200 billion, but because of congestion issues, I mean, since they've fallen, you could see that Binance Chain is catching up really fast, and so is Cardano, and so is Polkadot, right? Within a year's time, I don't know if Ethereum could keep its lead. I'm thinking so. There's a lot of institutions putting their money into ETH, right? But I mean, you do the math. This is only like a 6x difference. That could be made up. Oops, these two. It's only like a 6x difference. So that could be made up pretty quick. So I don't know. If I was going to choose something that would make the most money within the next, say, 6 months, I would say something like Binance Coin. But if you were saying for something for the next 5 years, maybe something like Cardano or Polkadot will. So that's just my guess at this point. VeChain Thor, I like VET much better than VeChain Thor because VThor is, the token, VET is deflationary. VThor is not. So I much rather hold VET than VThor. What do you think about Dent? I've never liked Dent. I never liked their model of trying to work with wireless carriers. Their website seems like it's great, and they seem like they have a whole bunch. They were bragging about they have 200 million people on their network, or 200 million people download the app. But I don't know. Maybe because I live in the U.S., we don't have this problem with mobile networks. But I just see that they're at the mercy of the mobile networks. I just don't see why in limited places where there's just one mobile network or two, you're at the mercy of them. It doesn't matter if you have a plan, you know? So I don't know. I was never into Dent and ModeFi. They didn't even show up. Developing Oracle blockchain solutions that empower true decentralization of, yeah, so I'm going to stop right there. I'll say it again. No one is going to compete with ChainLink with oracles. No one. It's the one niche that I don't think will ever get toppled because there has been endless hacks, especially with DeFi projects, where the oracles provided bad data, laggy data, was down. No one is going to trust any other oracle besides ChainLink. That's the reality of it. Now, maybe one day, if Cardano is building their own oracle and it's really robust and all the dApps on top of it utilize it, yeah, then that I would trust. But like if you're talking about like a small no-name company that is trying to come up with the oracle, no one is going to trust them. And the DeFi projects that have tried have all been hacked before. And then afterwards, they all turn to ChainLink. So if you're looking at a new upcoming oracle play, don't. I love ChainLink. ChainLink, I think they're gonna get a lot of love once China goes full blown crypto, right? Like Fed Chairman Powell is now talking about digital dollar and how it might revolutionize everything. Well, he's doing that because he knows China is not sitting back. China is coming out with a whole ecosystem. And once that comes out, I think it's going to help VeChain a lot. I think it's going to help VeChain quite a bit. So I really like them. They have all the partnerships in the world, especially in China. I think they're going to go very, very far. Apparently, some guy in Dubai is buying $4.8 billion in Bitcoin right now. I would not be surprised. If I was like a Middle Eastern oil tycoon, right? And I'm already a billionaire, like I have more money than, anyone else on earth. I would be buying Bitcoin, because you don't want to lose your wealth, right? You know that oil will come to an end eventually, especially as EV is getting hot. That's why a lot of them is diversifying into other things. Why would you not put a lot of money into Bitcoin? You see it go up. You know that it's a finite supply, right? So it would not surprise me. A lot of those guys are putting money into Bitcoin. They're just not sharing about it. Lizzie, what do you think about Chart? Is there actually a project called Chart? Yeah, too low. ChartEX claims to have evolved from Discord chart bot to a suite of complementary products, including an interactive charting website and bots also operating on, okay. So it's a company that creates bots that does stuff for you. Okay. I don't know if we need more bots, to be honest. And this project is just too new. Phil, come on. Don't waste your super chat on a coin like Litecoin. I'm not going to say good things about it. Unless you've never been here before. If you're thinking about buying Litecoin, just stop and buy Bitcoin. Litecoin is the second best store of value, but second best does not mean it's going to make you more money than the first best. And Bitcoin has shown that. Just go ahead and buy Bitcoin. Don't think about the amount. I know a lot of people will say, oh, I'd rather have 10 whole Bitcoins than, say, 0.01 Bitcoin. It doesn't matter. You want to look at the percentages. like your growth percentage, right? You don't want to hold 1,000 of something that's worthless versus 0.1 of something that's really valuable, right? So go with Bitcoin. How can Bitcoin be replaced? MB Tutorials asks, how can Bitcoin be replaced, or is that impossible? It's impossible. There will be no other crypto that is a store of value that will replace Bitcoin. There will be a lot of other utility tokens like Ethereum, Cardano, Binance Chain, Polkadot, and others that are up and coming. They will do very well. They could be replacing Google and Microsoft in the future, but to replace Bitcoin, they won't do that. Quinn asks, ETH is slow and very costly. I'm asking from a practical standpoint, besides all the hype, blockchain and incremental upgrade is not a revolution. Well, yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. You got to look at Microsoft. If you're a Microsoft guy, you use PC. Windows 10 was not developed from day one. It started from very early code. They bought, some operating system, created DOS, created Windows, whatever it was before 95, and then went 95 and its evolution. It's not like Microsoft created Windows 10, a perfect operating system from day one. So Ethereum maybe the first iteration, but they could definitely improve upon it. But there's competition that's already improved upon it. But you can't have that stance where, it's slow right now, so what's the point? No, things aren't perfect right away. It's not easy to create the very first, smart contract and the very first blockchain that supports it and create all this ecosystem that came from it, right? So you gotta change that mentality. Do you see any coin that will decouple from Bitcoin in the short term? A lot of them have. You go look at the last 6 months to a year performance, a lot have outperformed Bitcoin significantly. Like, it's not even close. So you could argue some of them have already. But obviously when you have a big crash, a big down day, everything tends to go down. But some hold much better. Have they completely decoupled from Bitcoin? No, because Bitcoin's the big dog. It's leading the market. So of course, most still follow them. But yeah, a lot of altcoins are standing on their own really well. What's considered low cap, in my opinion? Right now, I look at anything probably I would say 10 billion plus is a big cap, and mid cap probably goes all the way down to, I don't know. I'm just going to make this up. I haven't really thought about it, but maybe like 100 million. That's probably too low. Probably like 200 million. So anywhere from 10 billion to 200 million is like a mid cap. Anything under 200 million is like a low cap. And anything under like 30 million is ultra low cap. STX. Yeah, someone asked me about this before. It's not at 1 billion. It's at 800 million, but it's good. I mean, it's big. Yeah, it's like building on top of Bitcoin. And I don't think that's the right thing. If you need to build on top of something else. I don't think you need to bring smart contracts and dApps to the Bitcoin network. It just doesn't make any sense to me. I know a lot of people only like Bitcoin, and maybe this is the reason why they chose Bitcoin network, but choose any other network and it will be much easier, much faster, and it just makes a whole lot of sense. That's why I don't like the premise of stacks. The team may be stellar, but the premise of it just doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. LTO network, top 10 highest transaction, okay, actually being used. I don't know who SignQuest is. I never looked into LTO before. I've heard of it, never looked into it. I'm assuming they're kind of a fast blockchain. I don't know if they're a layer 2 solution or a fast blockchain. Yeah, hybrid blockchain. So used for business purposes. But I haven't done a deep dive yet, so I can't really mention about LTO. I have a hard time believing that's a top 10 highest transaction crypto. If that's really the case, there's something wrong with that. I don't buy that at all. Paid, I think, is insurance. Not a fan of insurance. Ocean Protocol, bots. Less fan of bots. So there you go. Can you have a quick look at Orion? I have looked at Orion before. I actually really do like Orion. I think they're building something that's needed in the DeFi space, where they're aggregating liquidity from centralized exchanges and DEXs. I think that's really good, and they have a lot going for them. So I think Orion is actually a pretty good one, and they're small mid cap, I guess, small mid cap, so they have room to grow. Jim, I appreciate that. Let me know how the Tether research goes. Well, I think you watched my video yesterday. I did mention about that. I don't know how far I'm going to get with that, but I will try. But wow, while I've been streaming, Bitcoin's above 50,000 again, so it's good. Barely. Yeah, so I'm going to end the stream. Basically, we need to take advantage, right? We have 3 days left until Bitcoin's futures expiration from CME. Michael Saylor did his part. Square did his part. We need to do our part, right? Things are looking pretty good. Dollar cost average, I've been saying for the last 2 days, even though things have been going down, you never know when bottom is, right? Some people predicted that we're going to hit 45,000 again. Some people predicted that we were going even lower, and they've been waiting on the sidelines, and they pretty much missed out. That's why I always say, if you're going to buy, sprout your buys, dollar cost average. No one can times top. No one can time bottom, right? And you don't want to be one of those guys that's like just sitting on the sidelines and just missing out on all the gains. So simply by dollar cost averaging, we're helping. We're driving things up. And you know what? Maybe we could do some real damage to F2 pool this week, right? All right. Like I said, follow me on Twitter. Make sure that you share or retweet my tweet or chime in yourself. Create your own I am George hashtag. Let's see if we can get it trending. That would be pretty amazing if we do, right? But overall, things are looking pretty darn good, right? Thanks for tuning in. Smash up the like, subscribe to the channel, and stay tuned for my video tonight at 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. All right, take care, guys. Bye-bye.